This is Inside BS show number 764, and I'm Dave Lorenzo. Hey now, welcome to another edition of our show. Today we are talking about your daily habits, and once again I'm sharing with you ways that you can connect with your clients and develop some business and incorporate doing so into your day. But this is not going to be me preaching. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a portion of my interview with Mike Galvez. Now, if you're not familiar, Mike is a business banker based in Orange County, California. Mike has grown up in Orange County. He's practically the mayor. He knows everybody there. He does a ton of business development activity, most of which is in-person, face-to-face, belly-to-belly networking. But Mike has a unique philosophy. He has three specific things that he focuses on doing every day, and his system is so elegant in its simplicity that I absolutely have to share it with you. So I'm going to turn it over to my interview with Mike now, just a portion of it, a very small snippet of it, where he talks about his approach to networking, and then we'll come back and we'll have a conversation about it briefly at the end. All right, let's shift gears and let's talk a little networking strategy now.
Okay.
So you made the mention that you try to do at least one contact with a prospect, with a client, and with a center of influence,
Yeah.
right? Is that what you said?
Day.
So do you plan that in advance, or do you get into your office and you say, well, I know the client that I got to call is this guy because I got a voicemail from him. I got to call him back, so that'll be my client. Center of influence, well, it's tax season, so I'm not going to call the accountants. I'm going to call, who do you set it up in advance? Do you decide in the office? What's your focus? What's your game plan?
So typically, I do a lot of networking through ProVisors. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a group leader in ProVisors. So I typically hit between 8 to 10 ProVisors group meetings per month. And with that comes a lunch meeting or a happy hour or a baseball game or something out of that group meeting. So that kind of dictates my schedule right there, right? So you figure, I think I was sending out lunch dates to a COI earlier today, and there was only 3 dates left in March that I'm available for lunch, and it's March 5th, right? So I mean, I'm already scheduled in April, so that kind of works itself out, and it's more of a casual reflection on my day. If I get to 3 o'clock and I haven't talked to one of those three, then I go, okay, who can I call? Have I followed up on this prospect or haven't I? But my networking is planned out in advance. I have my schedule out to April, and I had a reminder that came up on my calendar today to schedule my May networking, and so that'll happen today or in the next couple of days, right? Because I make that a priority, and then I go out and I see things. I actually set up a lunch meeting I invited about 30 people to go have lunch with me on opening day of baseball, because it's on March 27th. So it's going to be Yankees Brewers that day. And so I invited a bunch of people. Hey, these are my friends, and it's a couple of guys from my baseball team. Let's get together. So and with the clients, that just happens. I mean, I'm working on something constantly for clients, right? Where, we have a lot of covenants. I manage about 30 to 40 clients, and they've always got something going on. So I'll get who knows how many emails from a client every day that says, this is what I need. I'm adding a signer. What happened to here? This wire, we need to, it wasn't for the right amount, or we need to recall a wire. There's always some sort of a service thing that goes on, and I'll talk to my clients about that. Today the client interaction was, he had hit me up last week asking about if he needed to advance from his line of credit. And I told him what to do and how to do it, and then he never did, so I followed up with him today. And I also said, hey, let's go to a baseball game soon, because he was in Texas. So it's kind of casual. There's scheduled things and non-scheduled things that happen every day.
So there are a good deal of ProVisors members who listen, who watch. So tell folks who are listening and watching how you leverage ProVisors, because Nicola and I have talked about this over and over again here on the show, how we do it. But I like your approach because everything in your area, with the exception of your meeting, is in person.
Correct.
So you got to drive somewhere. You got to get up early. You got to drive somewhere. And then you do your follow-up meetings, which we call troikas. You do those in person, right?
Yeah, most of them, yeah.
Yeah. So tell folks how do you pick, because Orange County also is a really well-developed ProVisors market. And if you're not familiar with ProVisors and you're just joining the show, ProVisors is a national networking organization with over 10,500 members. They're in 22 cities around the United States, over 400 groups. I happen to lead a group here in South Florida. Nicola leads a group of attorneys here in South Florida. Mike leads a group in Orange County. And we all get together all over the country on Zoom and in person. So when I go to Chicago, I try to go to an in-person meeting. When I go to New York, I try to go to in-person meetings. How do you plan the meetings that you go to? Because you have multiple choices on most days of the week, right?
Yeah, usually. There are 30-some groups in Orange County. There's about 900 members of ProVisors in Orange County. What I tend to do is I like the afternoon meetings. So unlike a lot of areas, ProVisors has a lot of lunch meetings here in Orange County. So I typically just go to the ones of the people that I like. The thing about ProVisors in Orange County is we really take it to heart. The first part of ProVisors is know, like, trust, refer, right? So we really focus on the like part, and we're coming to ProVisors with our genuine, vulnerable selves. We've also had some, with COVID, and we've lost a couple members. There's been a lot of stuff that have brought us to be really close, and we're friends. And when my friend got me into ProVisors, that was one of the things. He's like, it becomes part of your friend group, it becomes part of your social life. And I was resistant. I said, I don't really need that. I have friends. I have a social life, right?
I'm full. I got friends.
I don't need these business jerks talking to me about whatever. And he was absolutely right. On Friday, I'm going to my friend Josh's house, who's a group leader, and we're going to play music together. And, my wife's going to come by, and it just becomes social. So I go to the groups that I like and support the people that I like. I try to hit them all. It's just, there's just too many. There's a handful of groups of the 30 that I've never been to their home group meeting. And in the 8 years that I've been in ProVisors, and I need to go to them at least once, but I do see them at other events. We try to do a lot of social events. And like I said before, I try to have lunch with a client, prospect, or COI every day. So I'm usually hitting, if I have a free lunch or if a lunch cancels, I'll call up a friend and say, hey, are you that from ProVisors, a business professional, to say, hey, are you available for lunch today? So it's with networking, it's a very conscious effort to go to as many activities, including, like, so tonight I have a happy hour. So when you and I are done, I'm going to go visit my mother. Then I'm going to go to a happy hour with ProVisors people, with our distributors and manufacturers affinity group. And I'll see a bunch of other ProVisors there. And then it's basically the same thing tomorrow. I think I have, and then Friday there's a networking meeting, and then I'll be at my friend Josh's house, and there'll be other ProVisors people that are our friends that are there. It does become a huge part. And it's funny, another group leader friend of mine, Sarah Nahidi, she pointed out to me that I have a fear of missing out. And I didn't realize I had that. She says, you have FOMO. And I said, it's a fear of missing out. She says, yeah, you want to do everything. And because I do. And I see people will post things on LinkedIn or Instagram, and I'm like, hey, that looked like fun. Why didn't you invite me? And they'll be like, you dummy, we did invite you. You were busy that night. And even if I am busy, I'm like, oh man, I missed out on that. I want to be at all the things. I want to be with everyone and have fun. My wife, she just shakes her head at me because she knows how I am.
So that was my conversation with Mike Galvez. He's a relationship manager in banking in Orange County, California. Really important to understand that he doesn't feel good unless he reaches out to a client, a prospect, and a center of influence every day. He has conversations with a client, a prospect, and a center of influence every day. You heard him there say that if it gets to 3 o'clock and he hasn't had those 3 conversations yet, he gets antsy and he says to himself, who can I call? Who can I reach out to? How can I connect with people? And how can I have those conversations? He does lunch every day. This interview was recorded in the very beginning of March, and he was already booking 2 weeks, 3 weeks into May for his lunch appointments. That's how important it is for him to sit across from someone at lunch who's a client, who's a prospect, who's a potential center of influence. He takes relationship development seriously because that's what he does. His title is relationship manager, but he's a relationship guy. The key takeaway for you is to incorporate into your identity this process. You are a relationship person as well. And if you're a relationship person, you spend time during your day developing and cultivating relationships. Mike doesn't feel good if it gets to 3 o'clock and he hasn't made those 3 calls yet. You've got to create your own benchmark. You're a relationship person. What will you do? How will you know if you've accomplished your relationship goals? At what point during the day will you say to yourself, I've got to do these things in order to be successful in my relationship development process? This is the Inside BS Show. We're here every day at 6 a.m. with a brand new show. We do interviews a few times a week. If you're just joining us, thank you for being here. Be sure and follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. If you want bonuses, special content, you want invitations to our live events, you want to be one of our guests, go to getinsidebs.com. That's getinsidebs.com. You'll get an email every day with updates, surprises, and brand new initiatives. And if you want to be a guest and you want to join us, you got to go to getinsidebs.com. Thanks for being here today. I'm Dave Lorenzo, the Godfather of Growth. We'll see you back here again tomorrow. Until then, here's hoping you make a great living and live a great life. Thanks for listening to this edition of the Inside BS Show. My name is Dave Lorenzo. If you'd like to apply to be a part of our community, please join us by completing your application directly with me on the phone. You can call me at 786-436-1986, 786-436-1986. I can't wait to speak with you. Join us by calling me today.